Alright, here is another example of using the law of size. Now, in this case, we are going to evaluate the unknown angles capital B and capital C. So, as usual, these are the two formats of the law of size formula. Use whichever one is more comfortable for you. Usually, the idea of choosing which one of these forms to use depends on what you have to look for. In this case, I'm going to have to look for the degree of angle B and angle C. Now, to find the degree of an angle using the law of size, usually I would stick with the first one. And I stick with the second one for finding the missing side, such as in the previous examples, okay? So let's just say I want to find the degree of angle B first. Well, same application. I'm going to take the B ratio in the first form, which is sine of capital B divided by lowercase b. Well, lowercase b is 15 meters. So 15. And I'm going to set it equals to either the A ratio or the C ratio. Now, we don't set it up to the C ratio because we don't know the opposite side, lowercase c. And we don't know also the angle capital C, but we know angle capital A is 42 degrees and the opposite side, lowercase a, is 12 meters. So it is more convenient to set it equals to the A ratio. So I'm going to have sine of capital A, which is 42 degrees, divided by lowercase a, which is 12. Okay, hopefully you guys can see it there. Same procedure. Get sine of capital B by itself by multiplying both sides by 15 to get rid of the denominator 15. Left hand side is sine of capital B equals the right hand side of 15 multiplied sine of 42 divided by 12. Now we're not done yet. We want to solve for the angle capital B to get its degree. We don't want to solve for sine of B. Now at this step, what you want to do is that you want to recall the inverse of trig function, okay? So it is something like this: sine inverse of sine of x equal x for all x in the domain of this sine function. Okay, and of course the same thing for cosine inverse of cosine of x equal to x for every x as well. And the same thing for the other four trigonometry functions. Okay. Now, of course, if you have sine inverse of a sine function, these two automatically cancel out. And same thing for the cosine. You're left with just x for every x. Okay, and the same thing for tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant. As mentioned before, we want to solve for b, not sine of b. So we have to somehow cancel out the sine function by taking the sine inverse of both sides. Well, that's easy. All you have to do is you write sine inverse, or some people like to say sine raised to the negative one, but I don't like to say that. I like to say sine inverse because it sounds more legal, of sine of b equal. Now when I take the sine inverse, I don't write it on the right hand side, sine inverse, just like how I did when I multiplied the 15. It is a requirement to write it from left to right, a function in terms of another one. aka composition of function, if you remember. All right. Guess what? On the left-hand side, you got sine inverse of a sine function. They automatically cancel out. You're left with just angle B. I'll write it like this, easier to see. Angle B equals. Now, you can try to do this by hand or by handwriting on the side, but just type this in your calculator. Approximately 56.76 degree. So that's angle B. 56.76 degree. All right, now at this step, we know angle A is 42 degree and angle B is 56.76 degree. Well, really, all we have to do to evaluate angle capital C, the leftover one, is by using the triangle angle sum theorem. Take 180, subtract 42, subtract 56.76, and you will get your answer. So we say, by the triangle angle sum theorem, take 180, subtract 42, subtract 56.76, and that is equals to 81.24 degree. And this is your angle C. So quite easy, okay? And so, as you can see, the law of sine is a very powerful technique. It is useful for evaluating a missing side and a missing angle in any type of triangle. Once you have the correct formula, all you have to do is just algebra manipulation, like that, and use a calculator to input anything complicated, such as sine inverse of this. Because think about it, there's no way you can do this by hand or mentally. Additional note, if you want to evaluate the sine lowercase c, all you have to do is, just like in my previous examples, use a law of sine again. And you see how easy it is going to be now that we know all three angles. Alright, you guys, thank you for watching. See you guys next time.